There are some cities in the world that are known only for their rain and darkness, where every corner hides a secret, where the journey of honesty and justice is long and dangerous. Today, we bring you a story full of riddles, where every murder delivers a message. But to understand this message, you'll have to wait till the very end. This story begins in a city and ends deep inside the human soul. The morning in the city was strange. The air was filled with hatred and the streets were silent. It felt like evil was hiding in every corner, a creature, a body that had been humiliated, a bizarre method of murder as if it was meant to deliver some kind of message. Returning from the crime scene, an old and wise officer slipped back into his routine life. His eyes had seen darkness, and his mind held the answers to every riddle. He knew this wasn't just a simple murder. Something deeper was at play. He had to gather every clue and keep moving forward, but deep down inside, he felt this could be his last case. A new officer had arrived in the city, passionate, sharp-minded, but everything seemed clear-cut and obvious to him. Every case was like a formula: find the killer, arrest him, case closed. But this case was something else. Every sign opened another darkness. He had no idea this case would change his life forever. The older officer's methods were silent and patient. The younger one was impulsive, quick, and decisive. Their first encounter happened over a shared case. They had the same goal, to find the killer, but their paths and ways of thinking were completely different. This meeting marked the beginning of a tense silence, where their styles constantly clashed. The next murder was of a rich and successful lawyer. His office was in the most elite part of the city, but his death rendered all his wealth and fame useless. This wasn't just a murder, this was a message. Each crime had a deliberate reason, a lesson behind it. The old and new officer were now working in the same team, but with different mindsets. One saw each clue with innocence, the other searched for deeper meaning in every mark. But both realized the killer was sending a message through these murders. The apartment they entered was filled with hatred in the air, a room that felt like it had been waiting for death. The third murder was the most horrifying. This time, the killer didn't just kill. He kept the victim alive for years, turning him into a living corpse. After the third murder, media pressure increased. All cameras pointed toward the police station, and fear had settled over every citizen. Everyone was asking, who's the next victim? This time, the killer used an innocent stranger to express his rage. In a nightclub, what happened to a woman was poison for all of humanity. Each murder became more insane than the last. As the murders piled up, the real face of the city emerged. A city of shadows, where behind every light there was darkness. Both detectives were now descending into the heart of the city, where nothing was as it appeared. This time the killer targeted a woman, someone who took great pride in her beauty and reputation. Even in the face of death, she couldn't bear to let her face be scarred. Every murder was a riddle, and every riddle carried a lesson. When every clue feels close, yet slips through your hands. The investigation stops being just a duty, it becomes an obsession. The man behind these murders, the mastermind, was now within reach, but still hard to grasp. That same day, they found the place where death had built its nest. Every wall echoed pain, every object concealed madness. This wasn't just a room, it was the killer's mental map. As each clue unfolded, the killer's secret became clear. He wasn't just a killer, he was on a mission. Every crime was, to him, evidence of human sin. He believed he was delivering justice. No one expected this. The killer walked into the police station himself, blood on his hands, poison in his smile. The game had reached its final act. But who would win? was still undecided. The killer said, "Only 2 sins remain, and you two are a part of them." Every word he spoke carried calm, as if he had scheduled death ahead of time. This wasn't an investigation anymore. It had become his play, and the script was already written. As he sat in the back of the police car, his face was expressionless. No guilt, no fear. It was as if he already knew what would happen next. But the most terrifying part was that something was still left. The car moved down a deserted road. Both detectives were with the man, perhaps the most dangerous they had ever met, and he said he wanted to show them something. The question was, what? A dust cloud rises. A courier van arrives. A brown box with no markings, just a name. And when that parcel was opened, everything changed. Time stopped. The wind froze. Inside the box was the most precious thing of all. The man who was always happy broke today. The killer hadn't just murdered someone, he had stolen the most beautiful part of life. That parcel didn't just deliver a body part, it took away a life. The young officer, whose heart was once filled with love, now burned with vengeance. And the killer stood there calmly, as if it had all gone exactly according to plan. That young man, once a protector of the law, had now become a slave to his emotions. He pulled the trigger. The killer's game was complete. He had wanted the final sin, wrath, to belong to him. The case was over. But the truth was, everyone had lost. The young officer was broken. The senior officer stood silently, lost in thought. And the killer, he had won. His sins would be remembered till the end of time. This was the story, where every murder carried a message, every scene revealed the torment of a crime, and every human weakness had a face. This wasn't just any story. This was C7N, a psychological crime thriller, released in July 1995, directed by David Fincher. So, what did you think of our story? If it gripped you, if it gave you chills, then like, share, and hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning. More dark tales await.